Welcome back to my channel, Math Vibes Tutoring. Today we're going to talk about simplifying basic radical expressions. And I'm going to put right here, simplifying, and I'm going to put here, basic, because we're going to do some more advanced ones, but not on this one. Kind of keep it short. Simplifying basic radicals. Okay? So perhaps you are in the latter part of pre-algebra or algebra 1 that you are starting to talk about simplifying radicals. Up until now, maybe you left things as the square root of 23, or maybe you put them into your calculator and got some sort of crazy decimal approximations. Well, now what we're going to do is actually simplify these radicals. Just like we simplify ratios and fractions and those type of things, we can also simplify radicals. Okay, now when we're talking about radicals, of course, we are talking about things that look like this. Okay, that square root stuff. All right, now we know basic square roots. If I said find the square root of 4, okay, let's move that right there. Okay, if I said find the square root of 4, you know you're going to tell me 2. Okay, and why is that? Because 2 times 2 equals 4. Okay, or maybe I asked you to find square root of 49, and you would say, oh, that's easy, that's 7, because 7 times 7 equals 49. Okay, but what if I asked you to find something like the square root of 28? Okay, well, there's no perfect square here because there's not a number that I can multiply by itself to give me 28. So again, most of the time at this point, maybe you left it this way, or maybe you put it into your calculator and got some sort of crazy decimal approximation. But what we're going to do today is actually simplify. Okay? So let's talk about factors of 28. So of course I have 1 and 28. I have 2 and what is that? 2 and 14. I have 4 and 7. Do I have any other factors of 28? I can't think right now, but I know if I'm looking at these particular numbers right here, I can find the one that has a perfect square. And in fact, the biggest perfect square. Okay, so I am going to look at this set of factors right there. Square root of 4 and 7. So the square root of 28, I'm going to break that down to the square root of 4 times the square root of 7. Okay? Now, do we know anything about 4 and 7 in terms of their square roots? Yes, we absolutely do. The square root of 4 is 2. Okay? I know that. The square root of 4 is 2. Do I know anything about the square root of 7? Nope. Okay, it's not a perfect square. There's not anything that I'm going to multiply by itself to give me 7. So I just bring that down. So 2 square roots of 7. Okay? So if I asked you to simplify the square root of 28, it would simplify to be 2 times the square root of 7. Okay? Of course, we're going to do another one. Absolutely. Let's try. What about if I said, let's find the square root of 48? Okay, if I said find the square root of 48. Okay, maybe we're thinking through. Let's see, 1 times 48 is 48. Let's see, 2 times 24, that's 48. Let's see, 4 times 12, that is 48. I can do 3 times 16, that's 48. I can do 6 times 8, is 48. There's other things that we can do. All these factors we can do. But let's find the set of factors that's going to have the biggest perfect square. Okay? So let's check it out. That one looks promising because I can take the square root of 4. Okay, like that. This one right here looks promising because I know what the square root of 16 is. Okay? So I'm looking at those two. Now, which one is going to be the best to use? Okay? This set right here. This is going to be the best to use. Can I use any of those other factors? Absolutely. I'm just going to have to simplify a little bit more at the end. So that's why I'm going to use 3 and 16. Okay, so the square root of 48, I'm going to break that down into the square root of 3 times the square root of 16. Okay, now, do I know what the square root of 3? I don't know anything about that. But I do know what the square root of 16 is. The square root of 16 is 4. Okay? I don't know anything about the square root of 3. Okay, so I'm going to leave that as the square root of 3 because there's no number that I'm going to multiply by itself to give me 3. Now, of course, we're not going to write our answer like this. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, we're going to write this answer with the integer, that number, the whole number in front of the square root. So this is 4 square roots of 3. Okay, so the square root of 48 simplifies to be 4 square roots of 3. Okay, let's do another one. Okay, how about the square root of, let's say, 500? Okay, square root of 500. Now, I'm not going to go through all the factors of 500 because hopefully you see 500, 100. You see those 2 zeros at the end, so I know that I could use 5 times 100. That's going to be the easiest one to use. Okay, 5 times 100. All right, could I go through and do 10 times 50? I can do that. I can do all the other stuff. But again, I'm going to have to end up simplifying a little bit more at the end, and we don't want that. Okay, so 500, 300, 700. Okay, always use 100 and then another number because 100 is a perfect square. So I am going to break this up into the square root of 100 times the square root of 5. Okay, the square root of 100, we know what that is. What number do you multiply by itself to give us 100? 10. So the square root of 100 is 10. We don't know anything about the square root of 5. There's no number that you multiply by itself to give you 5. So we just leave that as the square root of 5. Okay? So square root of 500 simplifies to be 10 square roots of 5. Okay? All right, let's do just one more, and then that'll be enough for today. All right, how about this one? Let's do the square root of, let's see, let's do 72. Okay, the square root of 72. Yep, we got a whole bunch of factors here. Okay, so we got 1 times 72, like that. Okay, I can do 2 times 36. Ooh, that's a good number. That's a good one. I can keep going. I can do 8 times 9. I can do all of those things right there. Okay, I can do 4 times 18. I can do a whole bunch, but I am going to just stop right here because it looks like it's a good one. Okay, so 36 times 2 is definitely going to be 72, but why am I using that one? Because it is one that has the biggest perfect square. I know what the square root of 36 is. Okay? Do I know what the square root of 4 is right here? Yeah, that's 2. But again, I'm going to have to do a little bit more at the end because it's not the biggest perfect square. Do I know what the square root of 9 is? Yeah, it's 3. But again, I'm going to have to do a little bit more because it's not the biggest perfect square of the factors. So I am going to choose to break 72 down into the square root of 2 times the square root of 36. Okay? All right. Do I know what the square root of 2 is? Nope. It's some sort of approximated answer because there's no number that I multiply by itself to give me 2. So I just leave that as the square root of 2. But I sure do know what the square root of 36 is. The square root of 36 is 6. Okay? So what's up under the radical of that 2? There's nothing else I can do there. Again, I'm not going to leave it like this. I'm going to put my whole number in front of my radical sign. So the square root of 72 simplifies to be 6 square roots of 2. Hopefully this helps out a lot. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you. Any other questions, feel free to email me at mathvibestutoring.com. mathvibestutoring@gmail.com. You all have a wonderful day. Subscribe to my channel. Bye-bye.